All right, good people. Hope you had a good week. It was a short one, so the market, I guess unfortunately, is closed tomorrow, but always a good time to kind of take a breather and spend some time with family. So we're going to make this the weekly recap video. I'm not going to do the Q&A video this week, but we will get back to it next week. So I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but there's a lot to cover here. I think the story of the week is a nice move here for the Qs and technology stocks. So before we get into this week's move, and I know so much of what I cover here is repetitive, but with good reason, my whole kind of mindset here with technology lately is that we get the little bit of volatility and the daily chart is getting ugly, and you get this short-term selling pressure in, everything. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, or actually not Google, but everything else except for Google. You get a little bit of short-term weakness, but I love these weekly charts because they tune out all that noise and all that short-term volatility, and they give you a bigger picture view of, not just the current state of the market, but the overall trend. And what the weekly chart has been telling us here, from one perspective, technology just gave us a ridiculous move. So basically from November all the way through December, all the way through January, and even a little bit of February, the Qs are just pumping here. So, we had such a big drawn out move. We needed a good healthy reset. And you got the pull back here to the 21. We never lost this bullish structure though. And I keep being so repetitive about this, but it's so important. Now, I was short in technology on the daily chart, playing a little bit of that downside momentum, but I didn't completely throw in the technology or completely throw in the towel on tech because of the weekly chart. We never closed under the weekly 21, so we maintain that structure. We still have stack moving averages. We still have green 10x bars, and we never got bearish momentum. So, if you're surprised by a little bit of the strength here for tech over the next couple of days and what I think is going to turn into a couple of weeks of strength, take a look at the weekly chart. It tunes out a lot of that short-term noise. We never lost our structure. We pulled back right to where we should pull back to. We held support right where we should at the 21. It's a solid-looking weekly chart. So, a couple of weeks of chop goes by, and now finally, we're getting something going here. So you got the daily squeeze. The first kind of mission here this week was to get back above the 21. We did that. The next mission was to finally get a solid push through that 50-period simple moving average and some of that nasty resistance right here, which we did. So solid push here going into the end of the week for the Qs. And of course, as goes the basket, Amazon putting in a nice day, up 2% and change. Google was killer today. So you got this daily squeeze looking ready to fire off here. I'm thinking Google's going to make a solid push. So we'll talk a little bit more about Google. We did take some profits there today, but Microsoft. Microsoft looks beautiful. Facebook has been strong. And interestingly enough, Apple is still a little bit lame. It's looking much better, but it's a little bit lame. But if you look at this daily chart here, we got a much better structure. We're back above the 21. We got a bullish looking squeeze. Positive histogram. So as far as, the opportunity set here for April, and keep in mind, I could be dead wrong here. So you got to be flexible. But as far as, where am I looking to put my risk here for the month of April? How am I looking to make the bulk of the profits? Is now that technology is looking a little bit better, I'm looking for a push to about 2 or so ATR to the upside. Maybe because of all the squeezes and because the Qs have been lagging behind a bit, let's call it 2.5 ATR. Being maybe a little bit generous, which doesn't change it much. So, pretty much here, what I'm looking for over the next week to 2 weeks, and it could not happen at all. It could happen really quick. But with the better structure here, I'm thinking the set of opportunity is going to be in this potential 2+ ATR move to the upside, basically bringing the Qs to a brand new all-time high. If the Qs themselves make that move, we should see Amazon make the same exact move. 2 or so average true range moves to the upside above the 21. You should see Google, who's already pretty damn close here, do the same thing. Facebook has already made a nice move, but you do got a little bit more room to go there. Microsoft, and hey, maybe even Apple, this little dud over here, gets it going. But I think that's where the opportunity is going to be. So in the options room this month, I don't know if I can scrunch this spreadsheet or not. Let me try. But in the options room this month, for trades that we opened and closed here in March, which was a bit of a choppy and difficult month, we killed it by taking what the market was giving us. The early part of the month, you get the big spike in volatility, so we're playing the ebbs and flows. Shorting 2 or so ATR to the downside, covering the shorts, getting long for the move back up to the 21, rinse and repeat. Then things get a little bit cleaner. You get the quarterly expirations, so we're just pimp smacking those iron condors on left and right. That was basically the month of March there. So of the 21 trades that we took, 17 of those bad boys were winners, 4 of them were losers. It's a really solid win rate. So that was the opportunity for March. For April, we're looking for some momentum. So that's my focus here. And if we do get that 2 ATR move, that's all I'm looking to turn it into right now. So personally, I'm not looking to get tech positions for June, July expiration. I'm not thinking that far forward. We got a better structure on the daily chart. Tech has been lagging behind. If we can get a solid 2 ATR move in the Qs, you should get it in all the stocks across the board in that basket. So take a look at a couple of those here. Google served us well here today. We've been holding a couple of April 16th expiration put credit spreads inside the daily squeeze, sitting through a little bit of noise, but Google has just been rock solid, and I think there's more upside left here. But we did cash in on those put credit spreads in the options room this morning for about 75% of max profit, which is solid stuff. So we got paid nicely here today. And with this great looking daily squeeze, if the Qs get moving, at the very least, I think you see Google go 2 or so ATR to a brand new all-time high. So this isn't a trade that I posted in the options room. We're going to look for another entry in the room for sure. But in my account, I did add a little bit more exposure on a little bit of a dip there in the end of the day with April 16th expiration, 2100 put credit spread, and then bought the 2090s, which is already off to a pretty solid start. So for those of you in the options room, I didn't post that one as an alert because I think potentially if we get some weakness on Monday, we can add a little bit more Google, and I think that's a better trade for y'all to follow in there with me on. But Google looks solid, and not just myself personally. There's a whole bunch of us in the options room taking different approaches to trading Google. I think JC is killing it here at the moment on this. So good stuff on Google. Any dip, any little bit of 30-minute squeeze action, pay attention here. Solid structure. I think you got a little bit of upside left. 2 or so average true range moves to the upside is going to bring this Google here, the goggles, the freaking goggles, to about 2160. So you get a little bit more here, and you could get a bigger move. But that's what I'm thinking for Google. And then for Amazon, we are positioned over here as well. So we've been holding on to for what feels like forever now, an April 16th expiration put credit spread with a short strike at 31.50. So this position finally came back to break even today because obviously Amazon ain't been all that pretty. But we did add last week another put credit spread, again, sat through some more crap, but we got short strikes at 30.60. So heading into the April 16th expiration, 2 different sets of put credit spreads, short strikes at 31.50 and then 30.60. This all basically comes down to the Qs. If the Qs make the 2 ATR move to the upside, all that eggs in that basket, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, they should do the same damn thing. So we will be in good shape here if you get a 2 or so ATR move to the upside for Amazon, which brings you to about 32.50. So that's the general focus here. And I think the important thing to keep in mind is you don't need to catch them all. If the Qs are going to make that 2 ATR move, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they're probably going to go for it all equally. So you pick the setup that you think offers the best risk reward and has the best structure. I think objectively, you look at Facebook here, it's already made a hell of a move. So it's not to say that doesn't continue, but I do a little bit prefer the Amazon still inside that squeeze. That squeeze is yet to fire. Same thing goes for Google. Despite the good move here today, you haven't fired quite yet. And then for Microsoft, that hasn't fired either. So I think Monday morning, pay attention. If we get any little bit of profit taken early in this session, a little bit of a dip, Microsoft, Google, or Amazon, good looking daily squeezes. And of course, I can't tell you what to do with your money, both morally and legally, but that's what I'm going to be looking to do with my money. Any dip there, get a little piece in a nice position. So I hope you had a good week. Certainly things are looking pretty damn good here. So we'll see what next week brings, but I hope you find tonight's video helpful. If you haven't already, gone ahead and subscribe. Make sure you check out simplertrading.com. Check out Simpler Trading here on YouTube as well. And as always, you can check out the description of the video. We got a couple things in there for you. You can check out my 2021 trading plan in my trader profile over at Simpler. You can download my guide to entries and exits, and you can get on the waiting list for my free newsletter, which comes out, I believe, relatively soon. So, talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.